from Bed-Stuy. As you can see, the two of they gon' die. Gotta keep the ratchet close by. Someone murdered. Nobody seen, nobody heard it. Just another funeral service. We will get at you. Come through shining, they yap you. In broad daylight, kidnap you. Let's get clapped through. Police stay on us like tattoos. It's only grind cause we have to. Money is power.
What's up, guys? It's your girl Brittany, Elyse, DJ MK, and Angela Yee. We just got done the See Me in Your Dreams at the Women's Empowerment Brunch, and we have the pleasure to sit down and dig just a little bit in on Angela Yee and see how she got to where she is today. Okay. How are you doing today?
Good. I'm excited. We'll just take team the questions. Okay. So we'll keep it short, sweet, to the point. The first question I wanted to ask you is something that I super admire about you, and it's something that I kind of need a personal answer to right now, so it kind of just really worked. So when I was researching more about you to just kind of understand like your journey, your path, like kind of like your stepping stones, I really admire that like you have taken like risks, that you have like always like jumped from like marketing to management to radio to just not being afraid to try anything. So my question is, how do you know when it's time for you to switch? Like, is it like your gut, or you just, because I know like you even have done certain things that you have taken like a pay cut to go and do.
Well, I think part of it is just if you feel like you're passionate about something, or it is an instinct thing, I think sometimes. Sometimes something will spark your interest, or you'll see something and you say, that would be a great idea. I do believe that everything happens for a reason, and sometimes certain opportunities or a door opens somewhere and it's meant for you to walk through that door. So I do feel like instinctually you'll figure it out. And money's not everything. I think one of the main things you have to learn before you get established is that you should take certain opportunities because of the experience, because experience is more valuable than money. So if I can get a great experience and work with some great people, but it's not the money that I want it to be, then I would take that opportunity. I would take it now.
See, one thing that I admire about you is that you're a writer. And I started off writing and doing poetry, and I went to school to be a journalist. Right. And when I sat in that class, my dean, first thing he said to me is, 80% of you will be journalists, or 80% of you will end up going into the marketing field because there's not enough jobs for journalists, radio personalities, and things like that. And that's actually something that you actually went into first, was doing the marketing for Shady Limited. So being as though that you're well-rounded in marketing and consulting artists and radio personality, how do you find the balance between being able to do all those things and those interests?
I think you just have to prioritize. I always say that my job as far as doing radio is the core of everything else I do. And so if I look at it like it's a circle with planets circling around it, I look at radio is right here as the sun, and then there's different planets that circle around the sun, and that could be, me doing my podcast. That could be, the juice bar is going to be really important to me, and investing is important to me, and fitness is important to me, and writing is important to me. So I do all of those things, but all of that kind of adds to you as a personality. When you go out and live your life, and then you go on the radio and you talk about who you are and you relate to people, that is really, everything else you do is what helps you be able to do that.
Now, do you aspire to write a book one day? And if you did, what would you write about? Or what would the basis of that first book be about?
Well, I have a couple of ideas. So I do want to do it, but kind of like how The Devil Wears Prada was, where she worked, but it wasn't necessarily all true, but just based on your own experiences.
Characters that she had created throughout her experience. Yeah.
Right. So I want to do something like that because so many crazy things happen. And if you, I always write stuff down in my notes, like this is going to be in my book when something happens in real life. And you think it would be great to put in a book. So I think part of it is that. And then I kind of wanted to do a book based on Ask Ye a little bit. A lot of people ask me certain questions a lot. So I did want to do a book where I could answer all of those in one place for people.
I love that. So just to play off what she was asking. So like I said, we blog, we interview, do all this. All of her hands are in so many different pots. But something I respect about you as a radio personality is you're so well researched. Mm-hmm. And I think that's definitely what you bring to the show.
Right.
The fact checks along with asking the really hard stuff that you guys ask. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to ask what do you have a specific researching process that you're okay, if I know I'm interviewing Farrakhan, or is that different from interviewing Jay-Z?
I think my process is always this. First of all, if it's an artist, I listen to the album, listen to the music. I read the reviews. I read what people have to say about it. I look on their Twitter, their Instagram. I also sometimes will look at past interviews they've done, and just basically anything that I can gather on them That's how I do my research. And then sometimes if I know somebody that has worked with them or knows them, I might call them and say, hey, I'm interviewing this person tomorrow. So is there anything interesting or different that you can tell me that would be good?
Now, you also managed J Electronica at one point. How did that come about?
I met J Electronica a long time ago. Oddly enough, he was a photographer.
Wait, he was a photographer?
Yes. So I was doing a photo shoot for this brand called Greedy Genius. It was like a sneaker company, and he was the photographer. It's him and this other guy, Joseph I, and this other guy, Ringo. They were all there. And so then when I was leaving, he was staying in Brooklyn. This is when he was with Erykah Badu. And I lived in Brooklyn, so he was like, oh, both of them, they all did. So I dropped them off in Brooklyn on my way. That's how we all kind of met each other after this photo shoot. And then he said he was also an artist, and then his producer was like, can I send you some of his music? So I was like, yeah, send it through. I listened to it.
You didn't know who he was at all before?
No.
Okay.
This is a long time ago, though.
Right.
And so they sent the music through, and I was like, oh, he's pretty incredible and very talented. So we just always kind of kept in contact. And then he ended up moving. He was in Dallas, and then he ended up moving back to Brooklyn. And he hit me up and was like, hey, I'm moving back to Brooklyn. I just need some help finding a place. And, I'm going to do this music thing for real. So I'm trying to put together a team. And I was like, okay, well, listen, I was working at Sirius. I said, I'll help you with whatever you want me to help you with. I can't really be a manager because I'm so busy doing my own thing. So I just ended up helping him, and then he was like, you're my manager.
So it's like official, unofficial.
Right, so it was kind of like I was trying to help him find a manager, but in the interim I was handling everything. But he was just very comfortable like working with me. So that's how it ended up happening.
See, I also researched that you were doing a show where you actually brought on a lot of artists on air before they actually were signed to a lot of labels.
It was called Don't Quit Your Day Job. It was a segment I did
love
at
that
Sirius.
because we actually were into getting the rawness of an artist before they actually know who they are, and then we actually like to be able to help facilitate in things that we think would help them to better themselves or make them better.
No, it was important to me because I feel like there's a lot of new artists out here, and
and
there's not a lot of places where they can get heard. So what I did was I would pick somebody different. It was once a week, and then we would play 2 songs, and then people would call in and say what they thought about it, if they should quit their day job or don't quit your day job. Yeah. So if we think they have potential, people will call in. But it was pretty funny. A lot of people that did don't quit your day job ended up like for real getting deals. Like we did Machine Gun Kelly super early on. He was really young. He still remembers that the first time I met him, I didn't even realize it was him. Drake was on Don't Quit Your Day Job before he was signed to Little Wayne.
And then you start to become build the relationship with them as you grow, and then you go talking about some of the things that you were talking about today is, you build those friendships and things that what places to put them in as far as friends and how they can implement you in your life.
Yeah, this levels of friendship. I think sometimes people take it where either we're friends or we're not. It's not that, cut and dry all the time. It's just different levels of, okay, that's a person that when I go out and I see them, we're cool, we can hang out in the club, have a drink, but that's not the person that I would call, to go on vacation with me. It's just different levels of being friends with people or having relationships.
So I wanted to ask you one last question to wrap it up. So what have you not done yet that you, besides writing and things like that, I actually seen that you were doing a film? Was that something like that?
Oh, no. My friend was doing a movie, Brooklyn Bread, and I was just helping her. She asked me just because I'm from Brooklyn. She was like, I want to put you down as a producer. I think it'd be good. You're from Brooklyn. The movie's about Brooklyn, so yeah.
So that was just my question. So what have you wanted to do that you have not done yet?
What have I wanted to do? Well, I'm in the process, I feel like, of doing a lot of things that I want to do. I think maybe sometimes I concentrate a lot more on my professional life and not as much on my personal life, so I do want to get that balance going some more.
That's like the forever struggle.
Right.
Yeah. Especially in
it's
this
like
business.
career, personal.
Right.
Personally, I think right now I just want more of my career. I just want to get more out of it, and then eventually I feel like that would fall into place when it's time.
No, I think sometimes, for work we put off a lot of things because we're like, okay, I'll worry about that later. I just got to go out, work, and get it popping. But sometimes you neglect certain other things in your life. So.
Say cheese to that. When they see me on the screen, check E for that. Parents lying on the kid, I won't leave for that. Intimidated by my aura, where Rita at? Send a GT vodka in a helicopter. Me and my Japanese bitches in Osaka.
DJ MK and Brittany Elyse, ladies and gentlemen.
With Angela Yee. Woo woo.
Why the fuck would I leave